All right, so let's talk about something controversial, which is usually what I do all the time. In fact, it's pretty much all that I do. And I talk about the controversial because that's what draws attention, and that's what people would like to engage in and with. So I'm just going to tell you the brief story that I read the other day in some article and then reflect a little bit around it. And depending on how well this goes, we shall see how many people I manage to piss off. Yeah, let's just get on with it, really. So, this girl, age 22, said that TikTok found out that I was gay, in air quotes. Or not in air quotes, in quotes. And that it's a little, I'm just paraphrasing, but this is essentially what she said. She said, I was scrolling on my phone, and then eventually, all of a sudden, there started to appear gay content from gay content creators in my newsfeed. And after a while, I just had to accept it. Like, the phone already knew that I was gay before I realized I was gay. Or TikTok understood that I was gay before I realized I was gay. And end story. By the way, I'm paraphrasing. That's the gist of it, though. Now, for the low IQ morons out there, that doesn't mean that TikTok made her gay. That's just silly to assume. I don't think that any regular straight girl who consumes gay content on TikTok all of a sudden turns gay. No, there was something there beforehand, probably. But TikTok quite likely accelerated that. And so here's the problem. Here's the real issue that I have with that. You see, and this goes back to science. This goes back to science class that I was taught in school. Because when you're a teenager, when you start to develop these, or when these hormones start to develop in your body, you start to get a little curious and exploratory, and you start to actually swing both ways. That's just natural. So it's natural for a woman, for a girl in her early teens, to start swinging towards other girls, and it's normal for boys in their young teens as well to start swinging towards getting attracted to other boys. That's biologically, I don't know what the biological process is, but that's normal because your body is in a exploratory phase in its development. I don't know why the picture is so unclear. Anyway, let's just say that after a while, this meter, I'm just imagining this meter going gay, straight, gay, straight, gay, straight. Usually, most people fine tune and end up on the straight side, but some naturally end up on the gay side. That's how it's always been, I believe. And that's natural as well. However, in that exploratory phase where they're very, very prone to influence and very, very vulnerable, of course, consuming content like that on TikTok will make them probably choose being gay if they're consuming a lot of gay content. And that's my issue. Because they shouldn't consume content like that, not before they're of age. That's also my whole issue with the Pride movement in general, because they're targeting kids and teenagers who are honestly and objectively in a very, very vulnerable phase. If Pride was for people 21 plus years and over, I wouldn't care. I don't care if adult men or women change their genders or identities or start identifying as, I don't know, a lamppost or a dolphin. I don't really care. What I care about is if you're targeting the kids, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here. When you're targeting the weak, the very, very prone to being influenced, and the very, very gullible. And also, let's just be honest, when you're targeting the dumb, because in that regard, kids are dumb. They're fools. And that's really what you're seeing here. you're seeing dark persuasion. You're seeing dark persuasion. You're seeing people, young people, kids, teenagers, adolescents, in a very, very prone and frail position, being influenced and taken advantage of. Now, I don't know if this chick would have become gay or lesbian without TikTok. Nobody really knows. But I think it's fair to assume that by her own admission, TikTok helped me sort of like make the choice. And she was very, very clear that TikTok didn't make her gay, which is, again, fine. But I think it's fair to say that TikTok heavily influenced her into becoming gay, and that it was almost like a choice, which just proves my point. Being gay isn't because I personally believe you're born gay or straight, and then you find out when you're in your teens. That's what I think. Anyway, dark persuasion lesson over. If you want to learn more, get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description wherever you're watching and listening to this, and I'll see you there.